Rick from Morty vs. Doctor Who is dropped. A match I was very excited for. Despite committing the cardinal sin of being from Britain and having never watched any of the Doctor beyond a few short clips every once in a blue moon, I was excited to learn about the character and series. My personal investment though stems from how, in the least Reddit way possible, I really love Rick and Morty. I consider seasons 1 through 3 pretty great, and seasons 4 through 6 had plenty of enjoyable episodes even if they weren't as strong overall. Season 7 though was the first time in a while that I've been loving the show again, on par with those first 3 seasons. So this episode dropped at the perfect time for me. So I'm well versed enough on Rick's end, but Doctor is a major blind spot for me in terms of being able to pick up on any fun references and bits of characterization, which means it's a good thing I have a friend along to help me with today's review.
Hi! Doctor Who is 5 billion years long, so I don't blame Biff for not knowing a huge amount about him. So I'll be here to point out all the little things no one will care about. Yeah, I'm Ribbit. You probably know me from some previous videos and the upcoming highlight reel where I do the funny scream.
I can't believe the Versus community is going to finally find out that women exist. That's crazy.
There's no banter potential.
Yeah, afraid that's going to have to go into the fine question mark tier. Unlike this episode, because it was proper class innit. So let's get into why that is. Rick's rundown hits all the beats that I would want, striking a borderline perfect balance between the silly goofy episodic shenanigans and his overarching story. Hell, they do that better than the actual show itself. I expected them to mention stuff like the grapefruit seeds as an example of what he's made Morty do, as well as all the people that he's beaten, but in terms of other specifics, I wasn't expecting them to mention True Level, and I'm so happy that they did. That's one of my favourite gags from any of the clip show episodes. There's also the obligatory mention of the funniest shit I've ever seen, and I mean it with no exaggeration when I say this might actually be the single smoothest transition between a character's feats and story that this entire season has. They bring up how he did it to get out of therapy, then springboard off of that to his emotional vulnerability and nihilism and how his family are able to challenge his views on that. I wasn't expecting that flawless transition to come from Pickle Rick of all things, but I love that it did.
The pacing in general was great, flip-flopping between his genius and combat applicable gadgetry and his relations with his family. It all does wonders for getting Rick's deal across while still showing us pretty much everything he brings to the table weapon-wise. And the same could be said for the Doctors, which I think is straight up my favourite analysis of the season. It hits every note I wanted it to. And it's nice and long too, which usually could be seen as a negative, but it's paced so well it doesn't feel that much longer than the opposition. We're dealing with a character who's been around since the 60s. Of course he's gonna have more going on.
It is a noticeably longer analysis than Rick's, yeah. But considering just how much more they had to cover with well over 10 times as many episodes that can get up to thrice as long, that seems fair enough to me. Especially considering how it doesn't really drag at any point. They managed to hold my attention all the way through, covering Time Lord physiology, all the Doctor's wacky gadgets, and their eventual dark turn into a warrior before saving their planet in a super engaging way. Bonus points for bringing up the time the Doctor once met Robin Hood. There are plenty of great jokes sprinkled through this and Rick's analysis as well, including 2 pretty solid cutaway gags and both hosts making fun of British people, which is the biggest W the show has ever taken. I also love how they parallel each other in certain ways, starting by covering their partners and how they entered their lives before dropping the series titles, and bringing up similar feats like fighting Zeus, Satan, and Fascists.
A tricky balance had to be made too. The Doctor is pretty much 13 different characters, more counting the War Doctor, or David's runback. So I was happy to see every single one of them got at least 2 or 3 clips. Some definitely appeared more than others. 4, 10, and 11 I think were the most prominent overall, which is good given that they are by far the most iconic of the bunch. But still, even the less known ones like 5 or 8 got a fair amount shown. As a person whose favourite Doctor is Christopher Eccleston, I was so happy to hear Boomstick say fantastic in time with a clip of him. Even better, they got him saying kill yourself in there. Going over the Daleks and how they impacted the Doctor was an excellent touch, and of course ending with run, what I'm pretty sure would have been his end clip had those still been around, was a great compromise.
I loved how Rick's ended as well. Would have been even more based if Boomstick said the word lick 3 times, but it's still great as is. Overall, these were some of my favourite analyses this season, and they're edited by our good friend Galaxy Video Max in his first solo outing. No DJ to help him this time, but he's proved to be able to stand on his own and produce a fantastic looking analysis. Tons of nice looking motion graphics and text help to spice up the otherwise static comic panels and still shots from their shows. There's a good variety of footage that manages to match up perfectly with what's being talked about, and in particular, I really like how the quotes from the Doctor Who novels are presented despite having nothing visual to work with. I'm glad the Death Battle team opened the door to give Max the opportunity to work on the show. He's fit right in already.
Some highlights for me were Operation Phoenix's entire section, the TARDIS's introduction, complete with my favourite Doctor Who intro in the back, and of course a nice crinkly Amogus newspaper, complete with Alf. Never mind, episode's ruined. Oh wait, shit, they had the Fall Guys and Fortnite in the interlude? I haven't been this happy since ERB Vader came in to save the day.
Vader's also in this fight scene. Hey, look at that, a smooth transition into talking about the fight. I'm really good at my job. So good at my job that we forgot to mention the cameos for the rest of the script, so I'm just gonna say here there's a lot of them, and they're cool. The setup made me eat my words from when I was talking about the previews. I joked about how the description for Rick's preview mentioned the series name as if Marty was gonna be in the fight as well. Oops, there he is. It was nice to see him cameo and even get a few lines. He gets across the inciting incident concisely without us needing to see it, gives us a good character moment with Rick telling the ship to keep him safe like he did for Summer in another episode, and then he shows back up at the end having forgotten all about his grandfather, which is really depressing the more I think about it. But at least he has the hologram. He adds a good bit more to the episode than I would have expected from a cameo with like 2 lines.
Right as the fight begins, we get perfect insight into both characters. Rick eggs the Doctor on and escalates it, while the Doctor almost immediately tries to let bygones be bygones and flee. In fact, I just want to point out how perfect the Doctor is done here. Watch the whole fight. The Doctor does not once actually attack Rick, which sounds crazy for a death battle, but he flees his ship, uses a non-lethal spoon to deflect and disarm Rick, same with the sonic screwdriver and the portal gun. Once in the TARDIS, he gets bombarded and runs, and he hesitates to bring out his first deadly weapon, which he never winds up using. Instead, Rick uses it and the Doctor redirects the shot. That's how you do a pacifist right on this show. Everything from his smiling at the screaming sun, to referencing the "they don't have a little shop" line. Heck, even him mentioning Queensbury rules as a reference to an episode of the third Doctor's run. And of course wrapping up with Alonzi! It all feels so perfect and I couldn't be happier with the execution.
I also really like how Doctor was done in this, though I have nothing to add beyond what you said. Rick is the character that I'm more familiar with, and I'm very happy with how he was portrayed. He's the same nihilist know-it-all that I know and love, getting plenty of fun lines that give him the right amount of anger or irritated snark when needed. The first time I heard it, I thought the "on the ground next to your teeth" bit was another joke at British people's expense. I think I might have brain rot. But yeah, the opening bit feels like how he'd reasonably react to Marty crashing a ship into someone else. He bites back against any of Doctor's attempts at banter. He sounds perfectly fed up at the Weeping Angels bit, and he of course gets his most iconic catchphrase when bursting out of Doctor's chest at the end. At first I thought it was a little more shoehorned in than some other characters' catchphrases since he retired after season 1, but then I happened to rewatch the season 5 finale and he says it in that, so it's not like it's completely gone from the more modern era of the show. And outside of specific lines, it makes sense for Rick to be the aggressor who's bringing out greater amounts of gadgets and direct weapons for the fight. He gets plenty of chances to show his smarts by setting up portals, using the chestburst gun when he knows he's about to die, and not immediately falling for the "they're scared of rapid movements" bit. He doesn't blindly trust the Doctor, so he blinks 3 times to test it and then stops immediately.
That was one of my favourite parts of the fight. Having the fight take place primarily in Rick and Morty locations was evened out very nicely with the inclusion of the Weeping Angels. Such a wonderful way to show their smarts clashing. Other highlights included the Doctor getting to do Tennant's classic "what?" a few times, Rick writing Dr. Do and Glip Glop on the TARDIS's walls, the Doctor saying both brilliant and fantastic in the fight, Rick knowing what a Time Lord is not only makes this feel so much more like an actual crossover, but also makes him shooting both the Doctor's hearts and telling him to hurry up with his regeneration later make all the more sense. And of course, them taking the "I don't want to go" line from when David regenerates the first time over and turning it from a line where he's scared and doesn't want to regenerate to a line that tells you that because he's about to regenerate, he isn't going to go and will live on. It's rare a line of weakness for a character is turned on its head and instead turned into a line that shows power and confidence. The exact opposite, and I welcome it with open arms.
It's all brought to life by a wonderful voice performance. Elliot Crossley is apparently an official voice actor for David Tennant's version of the Doctor in some supplementary material, so he was a natural fit for this fight, and it's cool they got to credit him by name. He has the level of charm and charisma I'd expect from what I've heard about the character. No notes on that performance. I'm not quite as won over by Brent Williams as Rick. It's not a terrible performance or anything, I think they inflect well enough, but not every line sounded like Rick to me. Some did, like I think the opening is pretty dead on to what I'd expect. The line when pulling out the sword was fine, but I don't know if I'm fully sold on the "he's ignoring me" or the ending monologue. I'm not sure if it's to do with the pitch of the voice or if it's smoother than I'm used to with Rick. Either way, it did take me very slightly out of it once or twice and is one of very few issues I have with the episode. Nothing against the voice actor themselves of course, especially with it being their first time on the show. Hopefully they can return for another role at some point in the future. Maybe with a role that isn't as strenuous as I'd imagine Rick's voice is to do.
The Doctor boasts one of my favourite performances in the entire show. The deliveries were all around perfect. The inflections were classic Tennant, and I personally really enjoyed Rick's performance. Definitely didn't sound dead on, but I think I can live without an authentic performance of Justin Roiland. The whole time I thought the aggressiveness of his character came across really well, and he had a level of blasé about himself that I think was super entertaining, helped by how authentic the animation looked.
How we've gone this long without mentioning the visuals is a mystery to me because it's the most obvious positive the episode has attached to it. This is the first time we've gotten 2 hand-drawn episodes back to back, and the team knocked it out of the park. In spite of how Scooby vs. Courage set an absurdly tough act to follow, I think this holds its own nicely. Everything looks great, but Rick in particular is perhaps the best looking and most authentic adaptation into this 2D style that this team has ever done. Not looking dead on to the show, but in a way that works in its favour, making his hair slightly messier to sell the mad scientist look a bit further. He's also as expressive as he needs to be and gets to use a solid amount of his gadgets, which all look great too. And everything is composited onto the 3D background super nicely. There's a good variety in the locations that they go to, from blips and chits with all the fun cameos to Fortnite to inside the TARDIS. And the effects are stellar as usual, with the highlights being the initial timey-wimey wormhole and the Doctor's regeneration.
I've always loved the bounciness the 2D team add to their characters. Fluidity that I'd say is even above the original Rick and Morty is matched with wonderful expression work. Getting Tennant right in 2D and getting him to mesh with Rick couldn't have been an easy task, but I think he looks great. There were so many expressions the Doctor made in this animation that I loved. The way they always had a wrinkle on one side of his mouth gave him an inquisitive edge, and his posture and demeanour was contrasted with Rick perfectly, who moved in much sloppier ways. I'd say this is my favourite work from them. Popeye vs. Saitama is their magnum opus as far as I'm concerned, but here they had to carry the whole 3.5 minutes on their shoulders, and they did it so flawlessly.
The audio end of things is worth just as much praise, with all the sci-fi sound effects and banger of a backing track doing wonders to give this fight a really unique tone. It feels like a very natural blend of what I'd expect from both series in that area without leading too far one way or the other. It's not my absolute favourite of the season in terms of its music, but you take a look at this lineup and tell me if that's meant to be a bad thing. As far as instrumental songs go though, which I usually struggle to remember as much, this is definitely one of my favourites.
Last but not least, love the aftermath. Going over it in sections is a wonderful way of keeping a match with so much going on so concise. It was also nice to see that this was an episode where intelligence encounters prevailed over actual numbers. If I was to be a dick, they misnamed the silence, but then again, Boomstick probably forgot their names because he looked away from them.
Yeah, it was a very thorough conclusion that still manages to be concise and digestible enough. And it avoided any dimensional tiering multiversal tier arguments that weren't needed to justify a Doctor win, so I get to stay awake through all of it. Only thing that had me scratching my head was putting their laser dodging feats on the same level with no numbers to back it up. Maybe they did calc them to a similar level, but to me, as someone with no knowledge on those calcs, Doctor moving alongside lasers in slow motion while performing 7 gorgillion calculations in that short a time frame would indicate to me that he should absolutely win a quick draw against Rick dodging the satellite laser. At that point though, it may just be rubbing salt in the wound, and the Doctor won anyway, so it isn't a huge deal. Also got to appreciate how they worked in the Omega device and other stuff from the most recent episode through sidebars and corner boxes, even if they didn't have the time to bring it up verbally. It was nice to at least have it addressed.
This has happened thrice this season, but this is my new favourite episode of the show. Doctor Who is an all-time favourite of mine, and it made me so happy to not only see it get covered, but this thoroughly. Hats off to all the researchers, animators, and of course, Max, who did absolutely fantastic.
I wouldn't go as far as to call it one of my favourites of all time, or even a highlight of this absurdly stacked season, but I do think it is yet another excellent showing. The final 2 episodes could shit the bed completely, and this would still be the frontrunner for my favourite season. Now this is the part where I'd normally put a number score, but oh no, it got left in the Weeping Angels dimension thing. Oh, that's so sad. How will I ever decide on one now?
Where the ass was Christopher Lloyd Rick? Shit episode.
Oh right. Max really looked at that clip and said, "Are you kidding? Never." That settles it. This episode's getting a 2 out of 6. Do better, Max. Okay, this is the point during scripting where we were both just cackling to ourselves about the next time and ran out of things to say, so we gotta wrap things up now. Ollie, go and plug whatever social medias you want people to check out.
They'll all be in the description. So I'll take this opportunity to make the Biffweed channel go woke, and say that David Tennant wore a trans rights shirt, so get fucked.
Based, actually. I'm a big fan of trans rights. Also, just to bring it up again, Ollie currently has commissions open as of this review coming out, so go buy some art from her if you're in a position to be able to. Think about it, the festive season's coming up, so what better gift to get your friends than their favourite character in the Family Guy death pose or making a mean grilled cheese or something like that. Trust me, Morty, the payoff is huge. Anyway, that about does it for this review. So thank you again, Olivia Theatre, for joining me. Thank you all for watching. Now enjoy the reaction highlights.
I just realized I'm basically the Rick Sanchez, but I cough instead of burp.
You are like Rick
Would you?
Sanchez, it's true.
That's true.
Okay.
Alright, it's
Wait,
my first on my
wait.
own episode.
Oh god, that's loud.
There he is.
Oh,
Whoa,
no
what?
descriptors. That's
Oh.
interesting.
I was actually watching Rick and Morty. Right
They're
before this.
really speedrunning.
Yeah,
that was
games
really
this
fast, like
season.
Wait, were you just watching Rick and Morty?
Yeah, and I was like watching it, and then I realized, oh right, the death battle comes out.
I haven't seen the newest episode, shit.
I liked it. I was funny.
Yeah, he likes McDonald's.
Yeah, he likes McDonald's.
Yeah.
Or dislikes fire, right?
Yeah, he's scared of fire.
I love when they brought that up in one of the latest episodes.
No, that was real.
6'6", he's a fucking giant. Jesus Christ.
Squanchiest.
Probability. Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
Ooh,
Phoenix.
time stop. That's gonna
No.
be useful.
I'm gonna go for now.
Would the decoys be affected by the moment?
It's not even a doctor's analysis yet.
I was so happy when this got brought up. I love the true level
Yeah,
set.
yeah, I love it too.
Holy shit, he said moment.
Thanks, Jeff. I hope that'll be the last time in this episode.
If Rick finds a way to win, that would be a good ass fake out.
Yeah, it's just really cool seeing these like characters on the show.
Funniest shit.
Funniest shit I've ever seen.
Indeed was the funniest shit.
I've watched these previews like 20 times each.
Yeah, they're so
Yeah,
fucking
me too.
I love the
Do stuff.
pickle Rick is how they springboard into story.
Dummy!
Oh, Dummy's finally back.
Oh, Tommy.
Oh, him.
Aw.
Someone's gonna make that a profile pic.
Does this mean we can get to?
No!
Oh, God.
No.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Pulled away to the blender dimension.
I still can't believe that's real. It's the Blender Dimension. Still fucked up that that was only the 6th episode or something like
Yeah.
that. Max
Yeah.
told me. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick and Morty just seems like man-made horrors beyond my comprehension in every episode.
Did you mention that you beat Rick Prime?
All right, I'm not as knowledgeable on Rick and Morty as It's fine.
Foreshadowing.
Ooh.
Oh, God,
Yeah!
Here we go.
I love the glitchy effect there.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
The anime!
Yeah.
And Jerry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that episode.
Good choice. That was like
That sounds
that was
fucking
perfect.
epic.
Okay. Woo! I'm so excited for this analysis.
Yep, okay, here we go.
This preview I've watched about 50 times.
Oh my god.
Same,
It's
yeah.
out.
I'm really excited to hear the rest.
That is so fun.
That is so horrifying.
That episode is horrifying.
Doesn't like apples? Oh,
the doctor just like
Yeah, because they
apples,
keep the
that's
doctor
good.
away, silly.
Yeah.
I've heard that his like real name is like a math equation.
Interesting.
There
He
he is.
met Robin Hood?
British?
I like how they mentioned they both fought fascists.
Yeah. I like that clip too. Who are these people?
The leprechaun!
Yeah, there's a leprechaun, motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is already the best episode.
Hot ones!
Here goes the new shit.
Jelly Bean is my beloved.
Oh God.
God.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The thing
I'm
that
so
can do
excited.
anything. The D-mat.
That's a DMAT gun, yeah.
There he is. He's back.
Welcome back, dummy.
I like that Dummy's got like more 3D
Powers.
effects.
Powers.
Yeah.
This really is a max.
Yep.
Yeah, you can
Boy, I
tell.
wonder what's gonna happen.
Has Max written all over it.
That's funny.
No more dummy.
He's just gone.
Yeah!
Yeah.
A
Yeah! Peter Capaldi's intro.
I have a fucking big old smile on my face. I love this.
yeah, I'm really enjoying learning about all this stuff.
Max, I can't help but notice every time one of your big edits happens during a slate.
Yeah, keep going into boxes.
Cyberman!
Yeah!
Ooh.
I thought he was gonna say Big Chungus.
Yeah!
Nemesis Bloodrake?
This is blood.
Alex! Yeah!
Oh,
Yeah.
Exterminate.
I actually hope the Daleks get on Death Battle now.
They just don't have a fight.
Oh.
I don't like where this is going.
Kill yourself!
There you go. Ribbit.
Kill yourself!
Oh my god, young man.
Oh man.
That was all from the
Damn.
same episode,
Oh
right?
my.
We
Yeah.
didn't want to die, and the doctor made sure we didn't.
Thought I brought that up in the prediction, I think.
I really hope Rick's death
This
is
is
just
sick.
that. He doesn't actually die.
Christopher! Yeah! Sick!
I like that uppercut. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
That was a good ending.
God, I love that!
Those are great analyses. They were a lot of fun to listen to.
I was
Very
so,
good.
I was so sucked in that entire time. Oh my god.
Yeah, well done, Max. Those are really well
Yeah,
edited.
that was a great edit. That
I
was
was-
so good.
Ah, you did
I was
amazing.
so happy to see. I was so happy to see that
Maybe-
scene. I really like that.
I know it was. I know it's only a split like second, but man, seeing the Cypher Ben on Death Battle made me really happy.
Kill yourself.
I
You
found
got it
some
in.
pretty good music
Oh
at
my
the
God,
end
young
of,
man.
Doctor.
Young man.
Yeah, the
I
dramatic
love that
music
at
was
the
so
end.
good.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a death. I want Rick to be trapped in some kind of hell.
Please show Fortnite Rick. Please show Fortnite Rick.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here we go.
Ah, I'm so excited.
My fault.
that Rick impression's so good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
the voicing is already immaculate.
Okay, here we go.
Doctor fleeing the fight is so perfect.
It really is. And the
Kick
music
his ass,
too.
Doctor, kick his ass. New stuff.
Oh,
Whoa.
smooth.
Hey!
Very smooth.
Oh,
Holy shit.
What night?
Oh my god.
Oh,
I saw Stitch and Rocket.
Wait,
Arcade battle.
it's Discord Bill in the
Will
background.
and Columbo. Columbo the
It's
Kira
Discord Bill in the
Pasta.
background.
Holy shit, it's the entire season on arcade machines.
I love it.
Flips and shits.
Oh.
that's so
Let's
cool.
chips.
He's
Oh, there's Roy.
perfect.
Look at Roy in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sonic Screwdriver, of course.
Is this?
Oh, we did
Oh,
angels.
no.
Yes!
What is this?
Oh my god!
It's the Weeping Angels.
Oh.
Oh, they're outside the
They're
clothes.
just butt-ass naked.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking,
really
Rick.
funny.
I can't believe Weeping Angels are in there!
Oh, that's so cool.
This animation's really. Oh my god, this is fucking awesome.
It has a lot of character to it.
Oh my
Yes.
Very
god!
cool.
He's written so
Uh-oh.
quickly!
Oh,
the
I
head
love
picture.
that.
There's a
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh,
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 shut
and the
up.
two hearts.
Mhm.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Oh.
this is so fucking awesome.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
Wait,
Yep.
with the...
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, wait, that's super cool.
Oh my god.
You shot through the portal? Oh, because he erased him from time. Holy shit.
That was a really fun fight. That was fun.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so
That was so
cool.
fucking good.
Oh, that's so fucking good. I really love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
good.
Wubba Lubba Alonzi is great.
Yeah.
Alonzi is straight up fire.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's the thing. That one thing just says no to
Yeah.
everything he has. Blender Dimension.
We mentioned the Omega
DMAT.
device. in
The
that
DMAT
little
is like a
tab.
perfect counter to that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really like how this is big.
Yeah,
Love
this one was obvious.
I like the way this is sectioned off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool.
This
Yeah.
is really good.
However, there's no evidence he watched anything specific about the Doctor. Okay.
Yeah, you might just know about him.
Oh, their fatal flaws. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, that
So,
that fight
I-
had a lot of great character moments in it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Boomstick just had on.
Mortified.
Alright,
Watching Angel
Oh, this
section.
one.
Oh my
Alright.
god.
Planet versus Aang.
What's
What's
next?
next?
Captain Planet versus Aang time.
Alright, here we go.
So good.
I'm nervous.
All right, were we faked out?
Oh no.
What?
No. No.
Oh no.
Huh?
Excuse me.
Oh.
What?
Oh, really?
What?
Okay.
What?
Okay.
I
Interesting.
All right.
That sucks.